And we're up. So, good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever you are in the world. It is Sunday, the 30th of September, I do believe. I'm within Groundhog Day. I'm here with Shane Brooks. Shane is another one of the speakers coming on Legends of the Digital World 3.0, which is next weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. You can get your ticket at legendsofthedigitalworld.com. I will put a link in, so don't worry if you're watching this on replay. You can just click the link and be lazy. So, Shane and myself have had a number of conversations over the last while. He's introduced me again by a very mutually good friend. He's shown me some of the stuff, and in some of the spaces that I work, I'm absolutely, truly amazed at. Definitely some of the, we give a small hint away, some of the software he's going to be showing, especially sharing with you, especially if you want to make money on the internet, or even if you have an existing business. A local business, then what Shane is going to share is amazing. But we'll talk a small bit about that later on. Shane, I'm going to shut up, which is always hard to get me to do. And why don't you tell people about your journey and how you got to start? Because, like, let's be honest, you look about 12, so it can't be that. It can't be
man,
that long.
If I shave this, I go to a bar and they ask me if I want a sippy cup or a booster seat, and I'm like, no, man, I'm actually like 26.
Well,
but I
come here, in the States, just before you go, in the States, I was there 2 years ago, and they wouldn't serve me because I didn't have ID, and I was like, what?
Isn't that crazy?
Really?
So crazy.
Really?
You're yeah, that's nuts, man. It's crazy here in the US. But, you know, for all the people that are watching this, first off, I want to say, you know, a special welcome, and I appreciate you guys watching this video. And a little bit of my background and where I come from. I about 10 years ago I started my own fitness company, and for about 8 to 10 years I was running a pretty successful fitness company where I worked with, you know, like 80-year-old people, you know, just trying to move around and get functional. I had, you know, older ladies that had spinal and neurological diseases, just trying to feel better at night. I had one of my clients won the World Cup in Dubai for flyboarding. I had a Mr. Universe as a client.
For flyboarding?
Yeah. Flyboarding, it's like where you're on a jet ski and you have this board and you have water shooting out of it, and then he goes up in the air, and what he ended up doing to win the championships, and something that we worked on, was as he flew up in the air, he did 4 backflips in a row and stuck it, which is crazy. So, you know, going from helping people do crazy stuff like that into, you know, internet marketing, doing crazy stuff there, you know, that's kind of my specialty. So
we were talking the other day, and you were talking about, you know, you had this successful fitness business, but your challenge really in it was that you could only go so far because it was your time. Yeah. Why don't you go small into that journey?
Great point. So one of the things that you'll find when you're running different business models, you'll see that in certain business models you become the bottleneck. You know, you can only scale as far as, you know, this business model will let you. And so I had 2 choices. I could try to figure out how to get even more clients and then outsource, taking care of these clients to other personal trainers and then take a percentage of that. But managing other people, you know, in that way wasn't really my forte. And I ended up picking up this personal training client named Justin Anderson, and I trained him and his 2 kids. And, you know, Justin was traveling the world. You know, he would be gone for like an entire month backpacking through Europe. And at the time, I was waking up at 5 a.m. every day, which I'm not a morning person. Now I wake up at like 12. I'm not ashamed to admit that either. So, like 5 a.m. I was waking up every day, and I wouldn't get home until about 11 p.m. every day, just because I had different clients that want different times, and I would never say no to a client. So, you know, I was working about 15 to 18-hour days. And I remember Justin, you know, driving a nice car and you know, getting the freedom, the backpack. And I'm like, dude, what the heck does this guy do? I'm slaving away over here, you know, making pretty good money. But, you know, I didn't really have that kind of freedom. And I remember him, I'll never forget. He was like, hey, Shane, I'm about to go to Spain. Would you want to come with me? And I'm like, yeah, I gave him every excuse in the book. I was like, I can't, man. Sorry. You know, I don't have the money. I don't have the time. You know, basically, if I stop working, I stopped making money. I think a lot of people can relate to that. And, you know, he ended up going, and then about 3 months later, he was about to go to Europe. He was about to go to London. And he ended up asking me again. I was like, you know, same excuses. No, man, you know, I can't. I don't have the time. I don't have the money. So one of my family members was in a pretty bad accident, and they lost the use of their legs. and they became paraplegic. And while I was visiting my family member, I just remember walking out of the hospital and this car went past me. I'm like, man, that car could have easily hit me. And, at the time I think I was like 21 or 22. And I was like, man, I could end up in the hospital with no use of my legs. And, I never really took that journey, and I'll always regret it for the rest of my life. So literally from that hospital, I went to Walgreens and got a passport and went backpacking for my first time. And that was my first intro into the internet marketing space, because I went to an event in Liverpool, which Simon Warner hosted. Got to meet all these crazy smart guys and see this crazy thing called internet marketing, where people were able to, work in their underwear all day and travel the world and, do different stuff like that. And I was like, man, I need to figure out how can I, shift my business model where I can still help people, but also have the luxury of total location independence. So that's kind of my journey that I went through.
Okay, so you basically you went to an event, you took some action, and that triggered it. And what was so how long have you been online?
About 4 years now. Yeah, about 4 years. About 4 years now.
Okay, so
pretty short time span to have the kind of
but when you're online, let's be honest, it's a bit like dog years. Like it seems short, but you just get completely and absolutely, and you're 4 years full time. You've dropped the fitness business.
Kind of interesting story about that a little bit. We all read those books about taking action and just taking those leaps of faith. And while I was backpacking, I met this guy that was running a very successful concierge service. It was on its way to becoming $1 billion company. And he was the owner of it, and he was asking me, he's like, Shane, why are you not, working with me on this? And so, I was like, this is a huge opportunity. So he was like, hey, I'll fly you out to California, and, work with my business partner to scale up this company. We're basically renting out homes for about $20,000 to $100,000 a night. We set up like 1%ers with, yachts and helicopters and expensive cars and stuff. I flew out there, the guy that I was working with really wasn't the guy that, we didn't really mesh well. And at that time, I took that leap of faith and fired a lot of my clients. We were still friends, we stayed connected. My clients are kind of like my family members. I go to church with them, and, I go to their houses on Christmas. I really take care of my clients. So
they just can't get rid of you, that's what you're saying.
Yeah, exactly. They're definitely not getting rid of me, exactly. If I set out and say I'm going to help somebody, I'm going to help somebody. So, basically what happened was I ended up flying out there. It didn't work. Or it just wasn't the right opportunity. So I was kind of stuck in this position. Do I put my tail between my legs and, go back to my normal job and try to hustle and get these clients back? Or do I say, there's definitely something in this. I know I like to help people. The internet marketing is the place that I can really just have the freedom that I'm looking for. And, what I ended up doing was I ended up saying, okay, I've been in this space for like 6 months. Most local businesses aren't even building an email list and, don't know anything about email marketing. And so I just simply took the basic knowledge that I knew and I started selling local businesses and started picking up clients. But that was another challenge. I was thinking that I could do that while being location independent, but I kind of went back to trading my time for money, because I did have location independence, but if you've ever worked with clients, you know that they're very time consuming. They have a lot of questions, and they have a lot of needs, as you can imagine. Yes. So then I had to kind of shift business model. I went into affiliate marketing. I still do that stuff. I actually still have local clients. I still have personal training clients. I still have I still do affiliate marketing, but affiliate marketing was another problem. It's like, how do you build an email list? So you have to, try to figure out how to get lead magnets and build a list and set up an autoresponder, figure out how to set up an email sequence, figure out how to get people to download your free product, and then try to figure out how do we get them to convert onto a paid product. And then once you sell them on a paid product, it's, a single commission. I work really hard to sell them on a $47 product. I get $47, $47 commission, sorry. And, that's it. And so now I'm kind of burning out my list for all these one-off products. And so then I started messing around with e-commerce. don't know if you've ever done e-com, but it's quite challenging as well. You got to figure out products to outsource. You got to figure out the right market you want to go into. You got to build a website. You got to figure out, how am I going to drive traffic? Is it going to be Facebook ads, Google ads, Amazon ads? You got to figure out, how do I keep my my profit margin good enough compared to my ad spend? So I was like, man, it just keeps getting harder. I keep going into different industries, and it's not really the business model that I'm looking for. They're profitable, but they're not really exactly what I'm looking for. And I remember I sold people on a active campaign. No, I'm sorry, GetResponse. I sold it to one of my clients, and I ended up getting a recurring commission from it. And I was like, this is I would wake up and I'd have $47 to $87 in my account. I'm like, this is the best feeling ever. Every month I'm having this commission come in. So I was like, okay, I think the area that I need to go into is something with subscription. If I'm going to spend a lot of time trying to build up this whole, business model and then sell somebody on something, I want that money to keep coming in. I don't want it to be all these one-off sales. So that was kind of the journey that I went through that I'm kind of am at today, where I've built up a pretty successful subscription-based business, and now every single month I have just recurring money coming into my bank account. And literally all of this came from watching Justin Anderson. So if you've ever heard of Justin Anderson, he's in charge of HKSEO.us. He's got huge tools like 1 Hour Indexing and Linklicious. He's got about 70,000 customers across those tools, and it's all recurring. Wow. So he could literally not work a day in his life, and he's got guaranteed income coming in because it's subscription. So that was my path. Yeah.
Subscription models get paid for life.
Exactly. Your goal is you want to try to keep them for at least 6 months to 12 months or longer. But things happen. People don't stay on subscription forever. But it makes things way easier. It's what you would call a cumulative growth. If I start pushing in 10 sales, now this is 10 people that will pay me every single month. So that was kind of
and the thing that makes me smile about it. We're going to have to wrap up in about 2 minutes because I have to run because it's a busy schedule this evening. Is that the really thing I like about it is I have a friend who's the same, right? And when I was looking at different models, and I brought subscription into my business quite a lot now. And I'd look at him and I'd ring him and he'd go, the dial tone would be different, right? Where are you? We were tired there Saturday, so we said we go to Spain for the week, right? And he could just go off and be gone, and the freedom, because he's getting paid. He's selling ones. No, he's doing service. There's recurring to back. So before we wrap up, obviously you're going to be showing the secrets into recurring income. I think that's definitely it. But what's going to be different about it?
So what's going to be different about this
without giving away too much, because you got to watch the webinar.
Yeah, absolutely. I want you guys to come into this with a fresh mind, realizing that the stuff that I'm going to show you is just the stuff that I've done, and that's worked with a lot of people. So what's different about this is when you're selling a subscription, you need to have, the number one thing you need to pay attention to, is there a major pain in the market that you're solving? That's the number one thing. If it's not a major pain in the market, you're just trying to cross your fingers and hope people will make the purchase, and then hope that they stay around and keep paying you. So as long as you're solving a major pain in the market and you have a good quality product that puts the customer first and you take care of them, then you will have a recurring business that will be scalable. So that's the number one thing is, it's one thing to build up a subscription-based business, but it's another thing to build a subscription-based business that solves a real problem in the market. So if you can do that, you will have people that will continuously pay you. I've always, for my entire life, I followed this saying. If you can get people results, people will always pay you. So for personal training, I never really sold anybody. I'd say, look at what my clients did. In this market, we call it a case study, right? So I never really had to sell anybody. I'd have big bodybuilders come and train with me, and they're like, Shane, you're a little guy. Why should I work with you? And then I start showing them the track record of people that have accomplished the goals that they want to accomplish, and they're like, okay. and then they spend 1 hour session with me and they're sold for about a year or two. And so, that's the simple fact, is solve a real problem and use the success of other people to continuously sell your product. So that is what you're going to see in this webinar, is how to build a subscription-based business that solves a problem in the market, and when people buy your subscription, that they actually keep paying you every single month.
Absolutely fantastic. And with that, guys, the link will be below, and you're going to get to meet Shane and 17 other amazing online digital marketers for free. We can't do it any better than that. Yeah. If you want to pay for it, you can, but we're giving away for free this one. It's coming to Christmas, so I want everybody to make a few pop for Christmas. So Shane, thanks for taking the time to talk to me and taking time out on a Sunday. And guys, I'll be talking to you very, 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 very soon.
Absolutely. And thank you guys so much for watching this interview today. And I hope you guys have a wonderful evening, because it's evening time here. So I'll talk to you guys soon. Okay, guys? Later.
Take it easy.